Okay, so like I said, I was saying, I think this is probably done at a parade or some kind of celebration type deal with all the flags and the tractor, and it just looks like they're all having a good time. I think the photo doesn't really have a lot of impact. Um, but, considering that it was shot at the time of day it was and whatnot, the photographer handled the exposure and everything really nicely. So I commend the maker for that. All right.
Oh. What? Okay, yeah, this is the right order. Okay. So the first shall be last and the last.
Okay. All right, so this is interesting. It's a totally different angle than what you normally see, and it's obvious that the photographer or the maker tilted his camera or her camera. I mean, just look at the pillars are at an angle and everything, but I think the angle kind of makes the image. Um, I would kind of, I mean, if the image is supposed to be a portrait of the person behind grabbing a sandwich, I wish the face was a little more prominent, but it's not. But like I said, I really do like this. I like the angle. It's obvious the photographer shot this one certain way, and sometimes it's okay to break the rules. And this is a good example of rules being broken, and I think the photograph works. This is a really nice action shot in the sports with the guy going over the back of the guy that had the ball. I do really think this would probably have been a better photograph if the photographer had cropped the entire left side out and made this a strong vertical. I think that would enhance this photograph immensely by doing that. Everything that's on the left-hand side has nothing to do with the action in the shot. And I might have even come in a little bit on the right to get rid of that elbow, because you can't remove it, but if you can crop it out, and you could have came right up to the foot. And I think that might have helped a little bit too. You still would have had a floating foot in the bottom right-hand portion of the image. Sometimes you can't control any of that because this is a sporting event and there are other players on the field. The other thing too is you cut the defenders or whoever it was his feet off right at the ankle. And if you just would have had your camera down a little more level, I think you could have gotten the whole thing. Again, if you would have shot this vertical, then you wouldn't have to worry about it because you would have had a vertical shot, and I'm sure that the feet and everything would have been included. But good action, good impact, and you can see the guy hitting the ball. You can see his face and whatnot, and but again, I really feel like vertical crop on this would make this a better photograph. And again, with this one, I think if you crop out this guy on the left and just focus in on the action of what's going on, this is a great face on all three of them. I mean, the guy looks like he either headed the ball or he got hit in the face, and his face looks like he got hit. And look at his hands and his way his fingers are crunched. And then the other guy, the goalie, looks like he's trying to block the ball from going in, and the guy in the middle is getting sandwiched between the three of them. So again, this is a really good shot. I would crop from the left, get rid of this guy on the left-hand side out, and make this more of a square than a vertical. Again, had you turned your camera to the vertical position, then you would have included the feet and whatnot. As it is, the crop on the guy in the green, his lower foot is gone. And I don't, you know, you might have been able to crop from the bottom a little bit too. Um, just so it doesn't look like you're cutting off a joint. But nice action, good impact on this photograph. You know, for a sports shot to run inside a newspaper, inside the sports section, I think this definitely would work. So good work on this one. And this looks like a celebration shot. And which is, you know, sometimes that's the shot you want to get is the celebration. And this guy on the left is being hugged. Number 87 there is giving the number 1 sign and whatnot. The other, it looks like the coach is yelling at him. So, yeah, good expression, good reaction shot. I would guess they probably won the game or something, and it's in photojournalism, that's the kind of shots you need to have. So good job on the maker for this. And this could be anywhere. I mean, looks like it could be a crime scene out in the middle of the desert someplace. It looks like it says US Navy Police. So I wonder if this is on out in Edwards or someplace. I don't know. Kind of tough to tell what the story is here. Just a bunch of people kind of talking with each other and whatnot. But again, you roll up on a scene like this, and this is typical of what you can get before you can get access to the PIO and find out what's really going on. So this, you know, as a photograph in photojournalism, this works because it does, you know, it's a documentary type image and it shows there's something going on. I'd like to know what the story is, and that's gets my curiosity up, and that's kind of what journalism is all about. So, and we did that one. All right, so we're gonna,
So now what I need you to do is give a first, second, third, and honorable mention.
okay. So I think the image of right in the middle there with the red, green, and the yellow guy, that would be our first place.
So first. Would someone want to never? Okay.
All right, second place, we'll give the football photograph. No, the other football one, yeah, the American football.
Sorry.
And third place, I'm gonna give to the one on the far left because of the angle. I think that works out. It was obvious that the photographer did that on purpose. It wasn't an accident. And it's just a different type of a photograph of that.
Sandy Aubin, she's on our Zoom.
Okay. And then honorable mention, the one next to it, to the left of that, the soccer one. Again, on this one, boy, try cropping that to a vertical and see if it makes a difference.
Again.
Okay,
And then.
all right. My dad used to drag me around like that by my ear. I'm coming down.
It,
Okay,
Jenny,
so this is an interesting photograph of, I don't know. Uh, I mean, there's a lot of,
with,
oh,
so- yeah.
all right, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so a very nice circuit shot when this first came around. I said, wow, that's pretty nice. So I like that. I like the fact that the face on the surfer, you can see her expression. It's in the upper right-hand third of the image, which is just about where you're going to want it to be. The surfboard is coming at you. There's plenty of room on the left-hand side. I might even crop a little bit from the left to make this a little, maybe a square type photograph. I don't know that you need all that empty space, but if you were doing, let's say you were doing a magazine, this was a shot for a magazine and a story, you could have the title on the left-hand side and then the copy coming down on that. And that would really look nice as a cover photo. So I commend the maker on this. They did very well. The image is sharp and crisp. You can see the movement in the water, so you can tell that the surfer is moving. And yeah, this is a really nice image. Okay, on this one, this is this unfortunately this image is pretty static. We know that the horse is moving because all of its hoofs are off the ground. Uh, However, I think if you were able to pan and get the horse still sharp, but the background kind of blurred, it would show movement, and I think that would have made a more interesting image. Unfortunately, um, you have the horse is just to the right of the center. The rider is almost dead center in the middle of the photograph. You have a little bit of room for the horse to go into the photo on the right-hand side. But again, it just looks like the horse is frozen in time and we need to get some kind of movement in this type of image, I believe. That this is so funny. As I'm serious, that's how my dad would make us when we were misbehaving. He would grab us by our big ears and yank us down the road. This is pretty good. I mean, the expression on her face and the expression on the dog's face is almost the same. Um, so I think that's great. Again, on this image, I maybe want to turn my camera and maybe shoot this vertical. Again, you have all this extra space on the right-hand side that is not contributing to the photograph any. I guess it must be some kind of a dog show or something, but that doesn't, just because of people in the background, that doesn't really tell me what's going on in that. But this is an interesting image. Her face, the dog's face, the fact that she's got the dog by the ear, I think this is really, really nicely done. One of my favorite subjects is aviation photography. And no, I'm kidding. Uh, we had a little discussion about that at dinner tonight. That's why you guys missed that. You missed the thing. But this is, this is a nice photograph because you've got the nice leading line of the smoke going up and the aircraft upside down and going to the left. Now, unless the photographer turned this in upside down by mistake, but I think this was intentional. Yeah, nice job. The aircraft is sharp. I really like the leading line of like I said, of the smoke going up. I wish the propeller was a little more blurred, so maybe just a little slower shutter speed would have got that propeller blurred a little bit, and that again would show some motion. But you do see motion in the smoke or the cloud behind the airplane, so that really helps the image in the long run. As like a changing of the guard at some place in a foreign country, it looks like. I like the fact that the boot on the guy on the center right is moving because again, that shows motion, it shows movement. These guys aren't just frozen in time and everybody stopped. So, I don't know where this is. I don't know that the impact is as strong as some of the other stuff that we've seen tonight. Um, but it's a good documentary shot of where you are and what's going on, and that's definitely the minimum of a photojournalism piece. So good work on that. Here we got a little kid, looks like he's in a bounce house. Well, I wish maybe look at some of your images and see if maybe he's in the air. That might show a little more movement, might be a little more dramatic than him. It looks like he's on his tippy toes, just about ready to jump. But it looks like the photographer handled the lighting situation really good. I mean, it's the exposure's fairly decent. Some of the shadows are kind of muddy, but there's nothing much there. But his shirt and his shorts, and but you can see the expression on his face. He's got his tongue stuck out of his mouth, and he's looking down. So I think he's getting ready to jump. So not bad. The first thing I noticed on this image is, again, I'd love to see those propellers blurred. That would make this so much stronger, but you have a nice flow of the water being dropped onto looks like it's probably a hot spot, or maybe the hot spot is doused and they're just making sure that it's out. But if you look at the camp crew trucks in the background, you can see that they're kind of wavy, and that's usually a good indication that there's heat coming up off the ground. So this had been burned, and that's what they're doing. They're probably dousing a hot spot. But I really think this would have been a stronger photograph if we could get those propellers blurred a little bit. And it's just, if you shot this at 1/125th of a second, shoot it at 60th or maybe a 50th of a second, and you get, it'll still be sharp. The propellers would be blurred a little bit, and the water would probably be a little more blurred and show a little more movement, which can really help the image. I really like the diagonal on this. I like the S curve of the racers all coming in. They're leaning into the corner. This is an awful tight crop, and I'm criticized all the time for cropping my images tight, and I totally get it. But this one is just a little. I wish there was a little more room on the left of the cyclist on the left. The one on the right is not bad because he's moving into the image. But the one on the left really has no place to go. But I like the angle of this. I like the way it feels like there's an S curve. And, you could crop up a little bit from the bottom, make this more almost like a pano type of an image. And I think it'd be a little bit stronger. And then just make sure that everything in the background is straight. So if you have vertical lines, and you can use that in your crop tool and go straighten that out. That is acceptable in the rules because you are cropping. And that's the only thing. I'm a stickler for straight horizons. I'm a stickler for verticals that are supposed to be vertical. I mean, unless you like that other image of that in that restaurant where that was totally done on a purpose. Um, we can take the time to make sure everything in the background is straight and every all horizontal lines are horizontal, not leaning one way or another. Okay, this is nice. This is well done. I'm going to be a little nitpicky. There's a little bright spot on the shoe that's on the upper side of the guy on the bike. Just bring the highlights down a little bit and that will take care of that. This is a great shape. This guy is cranking sideways. I might come in a little tighter on the crop, a little from the top, a little from the bottom, make this strong horizontal, and you've got an awesome image. So, and the fact, look at that front wheel, you can tell it's spinning because you can see where the knobs on the tire, you can tell that they're moving. So that shows movement, and that really makes the image work a lot better than when everything is just still at, 2/1000ths of a second. Then, you don't know if the guy took an image and pasted it on top of a blue background. But this looks nice. I mean, the maker on this did a really nice job. And here we looks like we got an aircraft that's just about ready to break the sound barrier. Um, but I don't know. I mean, the image doesn't look that sharp to me. And again, your images of everything's got to be sharp from the nose to the nose of the front of the plane to the tail and the rear. Um, but you got to have good timing to get to where you're at in this image, and that's what you did. Your timing is really good on that. I just don't know if it's I think it could be sharper. I don't know how big, how big was the plane? This looks like it might have been blown up and propped quite a bit. We used to call that shooting via satellite. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You only have a 200mm lens, and this guy's 5,000 feet away or 1,000 feet away. You're going to get a small image on your sensor. So, but the timing was good. That's a nice tight shot of the bicycle racer. Um, I think our exposure could have been handled a little bit better. But it's, again, you're given what you're given. When you go out and you photograph a race, you don't get to pick what time you're going to shoot it. You got to shoot it with whatever light's available. But there's some things that can be done. The background could have been burned down a little bit. You could have moved your highlight sliders down a little on the helmet to make it so it's not as bright. But the expression on the face, the tongue hanging out of the mouth, the hands on the handlebars, it's a nice shot. And if I was a sports editor and we were covering a bicycle race, this is definitely something that I would use. And here you got the broken bat and the ball coming off. These shots aren't easy to get, and you've gotta time it. And even, sometimes they have now the cameras and the video settings, you can shoot 120 to 150 frames per second, and you still can't get a shot like this. So your timing has got to be there, and it looks like the timing was here on this shot. Again, you could do a couple different things. You could decide you want to focus in on the batter and the broken bat and the ball and crop in on him only, or you can leave it like it is where you show the whole story. You just kind of got to decide what is more important to you. And so this is a nice shot. I kind of would like to see closer on the batter, I think, crop a little from the bottom and crop the catcher and the umpire out because they're not really, that's not the story. The story here is a broken bat from the baseball and the guy that swing. So. And then this is some kind of wagon thing going down the desert somewhere. And again, this is a nice kind of angled shot because you're down a little bit lower. So the horse is looking a little bigger. I think if you were crouched down or maybe laying on your stomach and shooting up, those horses would really be big. And so would the wagons in the background. So just don't forget to try different angles. And when you're getting out and shooting these things and, you know, coming up with a different angle can make a difference in whether a photograph works or not, doesn't work. And, but this is nice. I mean, you've got the horses, you've got the whole story here. I mean, this definitely tells the story. Yeah, here we got the guys coming down the waterfall at the Wild River Ride. Love the faces. The guy in the back and the front guy are screaming, and the guy in the middle is just like, "Get me out of here, please." Uh, so yeah, nice. Timing was good on this. Um, you know, again, this is one of those shots where everything is frozen, and it would have been kind of cool if you could have it would have been hard to do because they're coming down, and so you would have had to pan down as they're coming. But try that sometimes instead of using a fast shutter speed. You shoot this with a slower shutter speed and see if you can match the speed of the log thing going down the waterfall, and see if you can get some smooth, silky type water. That might be kind of cool. Yeah, this is a shot at the racetrack up at Willow Springs. Again, this is one of those that this photo needs some kind of movement and it doesn't have any. You know, you got a nice S going through here. But looking at the photograph, these guys could be stopped. And you know, a slower shutter speed with some panning, you'd have the wheels turning, sort of like what you saw on that motorcycle that was in the air. And yeah, I've gone up to the Lone Pine, what's that called? Lone Pine Time Trials a few times, and that's a great place to get out, photograph this kind of stuff, and practice on your panning. And oh my gosh, you know, they may not go very fast, but when you get a good pan shot, it looks like they're going 100 miles an hour. And so, but again, this, you know, this tells the story. There's a race here at Little Springs, and unfortunately, this just doesn't show any movement in the vehicles. First, second, and third.
Want to give more than one honorable mention? That's
Okay, so the first place would be the motorcycle guy that's on the bottom left.
um. Slave teachers. Great. First place.
Okay, congratulations.
He is on Zoom.
Okay, second place to the surfer, the one right above it.
It's the, yeah.
And third place, the tied up, that one right there that you're underneath right now. Yep. All right, congratulations, David. And I would like to give 3 honorable mentions if that's okay. Honorable mention of the one right above that, the lady with the dog. Suzanne. And then the helicopter water drop.
Colson. 3, 7, 8, 5, right.
Okay. And then the one right next to it of the bicyclist coming around the corner. Very good. Okay, well,
Very good. Okay. On to Mr. 2. And he goes with. Oh, wait, you know what, I think these are in the wrong order. No, right, switching to capture.
Yeah, cause Lightroom's weird.
Okay,
Ah.
so. There.
All right, this is nice. This is a good shot from a motorcycle race. Again, you can see the shutter speed was just slow enough that you can tell that that front tire is moving, and that's really makes the image a lot stronger. I like the fact that he's leaning into the corner, his knee is almost touching the ground, and the fact that the photographer is right on track level. I mean, that's perfect. I I go cover a football game or I go cover a basketball game and I see these guys, they're standing up the entire time and it just drives me nuts. I hate that. This is the angle that you need for these kind of shots. And this is really, really done well. So I commend the maker on this photograph. Again, this is another same thing. You got the guy diving for the ball. He's just about ready to hit it. Photographer is down at ground level. I like the fact that the background is not as blown out as I would like it to be, but it's not competing with the foreground. It's not competing with the subject. So very nicely done. Same with this one. Again, notice the background, look how out of focus it is and whatnot. That makes so much difference in these kinds of photographs. And that's kind of hard to do sometimes because you're in bright sunlight and you're shooting, wide open or almost wide open at a fast shutter speed to freeze the action. But sometimes, if you're shooting a 400 speed film or if you're 400 ISO, um, you're not gonna be able to do that to the background. Um, I always, whenever I do sports and these kind of shots, I always put my ISO to the lowest setting as I can get away with. And as long as I can get a thousandth of a second shutter speed at 2.8, I'm satisfied. I'm good because I want my background totally blown out where it's not going to compete with the subject in the image. And again, this background does not compete with that. Um, She's got her hands on the ball. I don't know if she made the save or not, but look at the muscles around her body and the body is in a curved shape and then you have the hand going out. It's just nice. It's a really, really nicely done photograph. The same thing on this here. You got, okay, so you've got a group of 30 bicyclists coming over a hill. Um, who knows if this is the start or sometime someplace in the middle of the race, but this works because you have so many and you've got a triangle comes down. The back end is long and then it narrows to a point to the guy in front. So it shows depth. Everybody's in focus. You can tell they're racing. I would like to see a little movement in the tires or in the pedals. But that's just being nitpicky. This is a nice shot. The maker did a nice job on this. This is fantastic. This is what we call the feature shot, that would be out all day when I was at the newspaper or when I was working with for the Associated Press, and they'd call me and say, hey, we need what they call pre-art at the time, and it was just go out and get a nice photograph to look at, and this is definitely one of those. The smiles on the workers' faces, I think they're laughing, look, she's still working, little knucklehead, you know. But they're having fun, or at least it looks like they're having fun, and so this is good. This would be a nice piece of free art that would go on page 3 or page 7, the 8-page section or whatever. But yeah, this is nice. Another good sports photograph. This one I think is, unfortunately, he's going right out of the image. He's saving the ball, but he's got no place to go. But again, look at his arm. Look at the muscles. Look at the light that's falling on him. You can see the back of his ribs and everything. I mean, again, the photographer is on ground level. I might have wanted to get if you look at the background, you can see the horizon line is leaning to the left. I would like to straighten that out if I could. And the one thing that I would do is try to straighten out that vertical post that's right by his head. If you straighten that vertical post out and that looks straight, then it could be they're on a hill or something. But right now, it looks like the whole image is leaning to the left because of the way the horizon on the sand and the background intersect. And this is a simple little, the pilot looks like or the air crew guy is talking to the little boy about the aircraft, and the little boy's got his little plane and whatnot. So I think that, it's a cute image. Uh, I'm not particularly nuts about the fingers coming out of the little boy's head. So a little different angle and you would have got rid of that, but, for what it is, not bad. This, I think we need to crop from the left. Get out a little bit, make this a nice tight shot on her face. I mean, it looks like it's sharp enough. It looks like you could really see the whatever's written on her hat, on the bill of her hat, the ball's tack sharp. I think this tight vertical on this or a tight square on her, and you can see that big on a wall someplace. That would be awesome. That would be a great advertisement for whatever tournament this was. And so good job on the maker on this one. And I really like this. This is similar to that other bicycle shot on the last group, but this group is a lot tighter, and you can tell, of course, they're coming around. You can tell the front wheel on the front guy is spinning a little bit. My only, it's too bad we don't have the bottom of the frame there to include that entire tire into the thing.
Sure, just
It's just there, okay. But again, this is nice. And photographer's at a low angle. So look, if the photographer was standing up, he would have been taller or maybe the same height as the guy on the bicycle in the front, and the photograph would not look the same. This here, it makes the guy look like he's bigger than he is. And I tell you what, when you're shooting sports, that makes a big difference in the way your images look. So very good for the maker on this one. And here we got the barrel race, and this is exactly what you can get from these types of shots. Unfortunately, with the background, this was probably shot at maybe f8, maybe 5.6 f8, because the depth of field is there. I would love to see this with that background totally blown out, where the only thing that you see is her, the horse, and the barrel. And I mean, she's really leaning into the curve. You can see a little bit of the turf flying up behind the horse. So yeah, this is a nice image. Yeah, this one, it looks like the ground guy's talking to the pilot, or, what was that in airplane? Oh, it's over here. Uh, um, yeah, I mean, this shows what's going on, and for a photojournalism shot, that's exactly what you're asking. Show me what's going on when you get out there, and this is it, so. Yeah, this is a good spot news photo. I like I mean, here you got, look at the elements you have. You got the Volkswagen on fire. You got the fireman with the hose in the background. You got something else burning behind the fireman. You got the guy walking out with his two dogs. You got, all the flames and everything. So this is, this would be, I could see this running on the front page of a newspaper someplace. Just because of what's there. I mean, you talk about impact, this image has got the impact. Can you give out two first places or does it have to?
It's one,
Okay.
sorry.
Can I see, can I see, no, can I see two photos?
Sure.
I'd like to see the motorcycle. Again. And then I'd like to see the image of the woman with the volleyball that's super tight, right, that one right there. Okay, I got my mind made up. All right. So go back to the motorcycle. That's our first place image.
That is eight.
Right, Kathy? Awesome. And then the second place photo is the one of the woman with the volleyball. Yeah.
That is Kristen Diggs by John Gelderman.
John, I would have given you a first place on that one if it was a tighter crowd, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so then we need a third place, and I'm gonna go, well, boy. There's too many good ones in this batch. Let's go and I'm sure it was probably shot by John too. The other one, volleyball above her?
This one?
No, that one.
Okay, there is Higgins, Black Air, John Gelderman. Please.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 honorable mentions. Is that okay? Well, hey, you got some good images. That one right there. That was an honorable mention. That one that you're on right now.
Okay. This one is. Look at.
Very nice. The one above it.
This
Yep.
is Haley.
Okay. The bicyclist next to it.
This
Yeah.
is the Steve.
Very nice. And the workers that is next to it, that one there. The barrel racer.
Is Beverly. By Andrew.
And then the spot news on the far right. Yeah.
What?
So tired? That's so cool.
But it was in my neck of the woods, so I ran over.
That's another one, Kathy, I would have gotten down lower.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just would have kneeled, got on my knees and shot that.
that does. Thank you
That was some good, so what's the difference between your master one and master two?
We had too many in master,
Okay, so you
and
just,
so we just took the ones who had won 2 first places in the past 2 or 3 years.
and then move them
and moved
into,
them up to
okay,
master.
all right. Yeah, sometimes that happens, you get,
It was just overcrowded, and so we
yeah,
moved
yeah.
some people up to master 2, and it was just, I guess, it will keep.
This was, this is like my third time for photojournaling for you guys.
Yeah.
I think this has been your best work. This was really,
Awesome.
this was really, really good tonight.
Great.
I mean, even some of those novices, I
Yeah,
think they get some more time under their belt. They're gonna
yes.
get in there.
Mauricio's probably not really a novice, but he.
You gotta put them someplace.
He's new to the club.
Yeah,
He's-
that's it. I know how that goes. You
Yeah.
know, at Santa Clarita, didn't matter what you were. You started it in the novice and then you had to get so many merits is what we did at that point in time before you move up.
Yeah.
It's everybody's gotta start somewhere.
Well, very good. Well, thank you guys. It's a short night, so if you want to stay and hang out until there are cookies and things back there, so grab some of those. And thank you all for being here. And those of you on Zoom, thank you for being here as well. I'll stop sharing.
And congratulations to everybody.